actually 7:06. We're about to start Community Board 12 meeting for the month of October 2024. My name is John Isaac. I'm the second vice chair. Our chairperson is actually live online. We're going to be taking questions. The first on the agenda this evening is going to be actually Community Speaks. So is there anyone for Community Speaks that signed up, or the public gallery section? Public gallery section. Where you at? All right.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Virginia Sanders. I'm president of the Wakefield Taxpayers Civic League. We are a community organization that works with other community organizations, and we also are reaching out to each and every one of you to ask you to please come to our meetings. We need more attendance. We need more people to show that we care about what's going on with the community. Our leadership is a little short because we have a lot of problems with our community council. So I'm looking to improve it. I am the president. I've been the president since Mary Laura left, and I've been trying to keep it going, and I need help. So I would appreciate your attending our meetings. I do have some flyers out there in the front if anybody's interested, and if you want to see anything else, anything further information, feel free to talk to me. And please, let's keep our community safe, and don't forget to vote. Bye.
Is there everyone for Community Speaks? All right. We actually have Councilman Riley live with us. You want to go ahead? So we move along the agenda. We have a presentation from the Department of Sanitation. Are they here or are they online?
Yes, I'm here. Juan Saldana with Sanitation.
Okay. You could go ahead, Mr. Saldana.
Okay, and thank you so much for having me. So I'm going to make two, of course, brief important announcements. And the first one will be, of course, the new curbside composting program that's being introduced to Manhattan, Staten Island, and of course, the Bronx.
I'm sorry, Juan, if you could just introduce yourself, right? Like your
Oh,
role.
yeah, absolutely. So Juan Saldana, so I'm the community coordinator of the Office of Community Affairs for the Department of Sanitation. So basically, we're going around all the community boards making these important announcements, and hopefully enough room to allow some questions and for clarity. So I'm going to start with, of course, the curbside composting. That program, of course, began on October 6th. So this is applicable to all residential buildings of any size. Set out for this requirement will be the night before your scheduled recycling day. So since it's going to be in a container with a secure lid, you can place it after 6 p.m. And it'll be collected the following day. Coincides with your recycling day. You can use any bin of 55 gallons or less with a tight fitting lid. Of course, you can, if you use your own bin, we could provide a decal that you can affix it indicating for composting only. Or you can register on our website to get one of the brown bins. And that is a 21 gallon, depending on the size of the residence, or single family home will be a 13-gallon bin. You can use any clear bags for yard waste only. For food product, you could use any plastic bag. So there is a machine at the end of during that process that will extract that plastic bag. Therefore, you can use any bags. Depending on the size of your building, if management sets up this program, which of course they're mandated to do so, they will figure something out, whether you bring your bag down to the basement area, place it in a larger bin that they could provide. Their setup options include, of course, put the material directly into the bin, put the material into a bin with a clear liner, which we strongly recommend, of course, especially in the summer months. the smell that could emit from that. And of course, the lid will also suppress that any smells. Collect the material with a smaller bag and then place them all into the compost bin. You can use any bag, paper bags or biodegradable bags. Again, okay to use clear bags for yard waste and leaves only. Food waste must go in a container, whether on its own or in a bag. Enforcement, there's going to be a 3-month warning period for yard waste. Come spring 2025, food waste scraps cannot no longer be mixed in with regular trash. So I don't know if I'm open to any questions. So I'll complete everything. And of course, in the comment section, you can definitely ask away. The next thing I'm going to cover is, of course, a residential containerization requirement. So effective November 12th, all residential buildings with 1 through 9 units, including schools, houses of worship, special use buildings that receive Department of Sanitation service must containerize their trash. You can use any bin of 55 gallons or less with a tight-fitting lid. You do not need the official NYC bin until June 2026. And again, that has also created some confusion that people have rushed to order this bin thinking that they do need that official one now. You can use any bin with a tight-fitting lid of 55 gallons or less. The official bin is available, multiple sizes. There's a 45-gallon and a 35-gallon offers, and that's via a vendor. You can order that through our website, or you can call 1-855-NYC-BINS or 1-855-692-2467, and I'll provide that in the comment section. When the mandate goes into effect on November 12th, it will only affect regular garbage. Recycling stays the same. So your recycling, you can still set out in clear bags, but cannot be placed curbside until after 8 p.m. if you choose the bag option. In a container with a secure lid, you can place that after 6 p.m. Bins can be stored inside of the building, side yard, or backyard. If no other available, the bin can be stored along the building line as long as it does not create any obstruction or impede pedestrian traffic. Enforcement for this requirement, there's a warning period until the end of this year, 2024. Fines for this will start January of 2025. So again, this concludes this. There's one more announcement that I have to make, and this is for any business owners or managers. So fines, and this is for repeated offenders, the fines will double depending on the infraction within a 12-month period. So currently, and just give me one moment here, and I'll share these. I have some flyers also that I'll share. So these fines for the first offense, of course, is $50. Second, it will jump to $300. 3 or more after that is $500 each infraction. So just bear that in mind. I will provide some information pertaining to that. So that pretty much concludes my announcements. I don't know if I have any room to answer any questions. Again, you can share any clarity to anything that you want to ask pertaining to this in the comment section.
Need a mic.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
As president of a co-op board, we ordered our bin like, what was it, 8 weeks ago?
Maybe
6 weeks ago, and we still have not received the bin. So people are coming downstairs looking to put their recycling, their compost in the compost
Okay.
can, and we don't have one. Can you tell me what, do you know if we're going to get one or not? We have 51 apartments in my building.
Okay. So if you order this is for the composting brown bin, correct? This is for the brown bin, correct, that you're referring?
What do we want to put them in? I'm sorry, I missed it.
So I'm asking which bin did you order? Is it the brown bin or the trash
The
bin?
22 gallon bin.
Okay, so the for composting. So again, you can use your own. We can provide the decals. If you haven't received it yet, I provided my contact information so you can reach out to me directly. And I'll share that with our recycling bureau. They're the ones that coordinating the delivery process for the brown bins. But in the meantime, since of course the program already started, you could use your own bin. I can mail you some decals. It's some that you can actually download, but I wouldn't recommend that because you would have to, it's just a paper that won't last long, affixed to that bin. But you can reach out to me and I'll send you some decals. And of course, the bin that you can use, which will accommodate the size of the building you described, could be up to 55 gallons. You can get several of those, but not exceed that capacity. But I can definitely assist in finding out where the status of your order is.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question, Juan.
Sure.
I don't know if there's anyone else there, but while they get the mic back.
Mhm.
So the 55-gallon or less bin, is that the one that we've seen the mayor promoting over news media? Because that one looks kind of small.
Right. So if you're, yeah, I believe the mayor did showcase it looks like a dark gray bin. So that's the trash official bin. That one is the bigger one of that is just 45 gallons. The smaller option is 35 gallons. Those are the two options available that you can purchase on our website through a vendor.
Right. I'm just concerned because I have a family with two granddaughters. You know, we're a
Mhm.
pretty big family, and so we have a bigger one.
Right.
And we don't have everyday garbage collection. And as it is, it gets packed. Is the administration proposing that we get a few of those trash cans?
Right. So there you assess it based on the amount of trash that you generate. And then there you basically will calculate, should I get an extra bin and I know come next month on Thanksgiving, everyone's going to have an excess amount of food waste. So there's also, I don't know, in the area, in the vicinity of Bronx 12, if there's any farmers markets that actually can drop off composting if you have access amount of it. There's also the smart bin. I don't know if in the neighborhood you notice an orange bin that you can access via an app. So the app you download and you gain access to that composting bin via the app. I don't know if you guys have any that you've seen in the area there, but that's an
I
option.
haven't, but I'm just concerned about the
Mhm.
rollout and, you know, this is happening pretty quickly and we do
Right.
have elders in our district.
Right.
Is there even any waivers or funding where they don't have to pay for these bins? I think for some people it's pricey, and if they need to get a few, who's covering that cost
Right.
if they're not
So-
able to?
Right. So right now you could sign up for some exceptions of disability. I can provide you with that information. So they can register also on our website and they state what's their circumstance. And this is we have an office that is seeing on a case by case basis and accommodating accordingly. But this is something that has to be reviewed and of course approved.
Okay, if you can get us that information so that
Oh
we
yes,
can.
I will. Absolutely.
And then for the rest of us, it's proposed that we get as many as we need. Is there a limit to how many?
No limit to how many. It's just the capacity. It has to be 55 gallons or less.
Okay, and what happens to the bins that we are, you know, currently own? Do we can just put that in the recycling day for it to be thrown out? How are
So,
those being
right,
disposed
so if you
of?
have a plastic bin that doesn't have a secure lid, put it upside down. You have to you can write there, trash, please take, or for recycling. And you can put that the night before your scheduled recycling day, but put it upside down, indicating that it's not a bin that's being used.
What about the ones with the bins? I
With
mean,
anything,
with the covers.
or if you have one with a cover and not exceeding 55 gallons, I would recommend use that one.
No,
Use that
the
one.
one I have exceeds it. And there's many others on my
Oh.
block that exceeds the 55. They're
Right.
huge, has the lid. What do we do with those?
That I would recycle it if you can't find
Okay.
another, but definitely do not place that curbside.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Sure.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
Now, if I'm understanding this correct, it's not a large scope. I mean, I have the correct side, I think 3355 containers with a tight lid to go over it.
Right.
Therefore, no garbage bag should be placed outside other than in the container itself. Is this correct?
That correct. But to clarify, residential properties of 1 through 9 units. Beyond 9 does not apply. You continue as is until further notice. This is just 1 through 9. If you qualify as a residential property of 1 through 9, then yes, that is required.
Therefore, I can still use garbage bags. Is that what you're saying?
Do you reside in a residential property
Residential area, yes.
of 1 through 9 residential units, single family home or building that doesn't exceed 9 units?
Okay, now on the other end, I was told, or maybe incorrect, all your garbage bags must be black? Can't be white garbage bags. Like for instance, I'm a small family. I have a small container of garbage. I put it in a white bag, tie it up, leave it on the
Right.
curb. Do I have to put it inside of a black bag rather than to leave it just in the white bag?
Well, it's recommended definitely a black bag. Durability is an issue there. But are you going to, do you qualify that your residents qualify to use the bin with a secure lid?
Yeah, I have a bin. I use the bin.
Okay.
But
So,
it's
so,
not-
so you, go ahead.
Okay, but the one that I had was blue, so I had to change it and get a black one. Was that necessary?
Yeah, that yes, because it could create
Okay,
some
so now
confusion.
it's, do I get a refund? Kidding, kidding, kidding.
But again, you can use, if you have the bin 55 or less, you can use that with a secure lid. You can definitely, and put your white bags in there and it should be collected.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So my question is this. You said that they started picking up compost already, and I know they have because they picked up mines last week.
Right.
This week, I sat mines out there for Wednesday pickup,
Mhm.
and Thursday morning, it was still sitting out there. So now I have a full compost can and nowhere to put the new compost.
All right.
So can I send you guys a fine for $50 for not picking it up?
So let me ask you that you call 311 to report that
Well,
this.
I am going, that was my intent, but I knew I was coming here tonight and I figured somebody from sanitation would be here. to give me
Gotcha.
an answer.
Right. So in the event that you notice the rest of your block was serviced except for your residential property, you
Well,
have to give.
excuse me for a second. I don't know that anybody else was doing what they were supposed to do because I would only see my can out there.
Right. That's precisely my point. If you notice, oh, the entire block's been serviced except for me, that means we already came by, for some reason missed you. That right there, we got to know about it. Call 311. You can even call me directly. I provided my contact information. Let me know. We'll relay that to the local sanitation district, advise them that you were missed. And then they'll, next go around, they should pick it up.
Well, what I
Yeah.
was saying when I said mines was the only one out there, I
Right.
put mines out the night before when everybody else's garbage was out there. And
Right.
nobody else had a brown can out there. What
I-
I mean was
oh,
I
I
was
got you.
probably the only one that complied.
Right. So again,
But
there's currently warning periods right now. So spring 2025, that's where fines will start. So right now, anyone not in compliance will receive a warning, not a summons. So we have until next year, 2025, for everyone to be in participation of this program.
So that means y'all don't have to pay my $50 fine.
You received the $50 fine?
No, I was going
for-
to send you one for missing me. Never
Oh, I gotcha. But again, definitely reach out to me. If this is like a chronic situation, let me know. I'll do my best to assist with that.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Also hear from Councilman Kevin Rowley. It's your turn.
Couldn't even warm me up and let me know. All right. So good evening, everyone. How you doing today? Kevin Riley, your council member. I'm going to be very brief because my amazing team provided me some information just to give you some updates, but then I'm going to go into questions because I know there's probably some questions. Most importantly, thank you to all the board members. It's really important. This is not a paid position. You guys are volunteering your services for our community. So really, really appreciate all of you. Just going to some legislative initiatives I'm really, really pushing right now. Many of you know fatherhood is something really, really important to me, and the health of our young people is really important to me as well. I have a bill with the American Heart Association, which requires restaurants in New York City to at least have 2 healthy options for children to eat. on the menu. This is intro 641. I'm really trying to push this right now, so any support from the community to sign on to a petition will be appreciated. Another bill that I co-sponsored was intro 1077. Youth in foster care, usually when they transition from house to house, as we're talking about garbage bags, they usually get garbage bags to bring their clothes and their materials and their resources from house to house, which we believe is very inhumane for our young people. So I issued a co-sponsored bill with Councilmember Rita Joseph, who's the chair of the Education Committee. And this provides luggage for those foster care kids when they're transitioning from house to house. Another legislation that which is very important to the district. When I got elected to office, many individuals spoke about Baychester Square. That's the old golf area across the street from Home Depot. Currently, right now, they're turning it into Electric Depot. The prior administration that had the seat, there was some faulty negotiations, so MTA did not want to convert it to anything else. So me applying political pressure, and then thank you to the community board members that came to the conversations, and we held tours over there as well. The MTA wasn't budgeting, so I introduced a resolution that will do an impact study on the community of what that Electric Depot would do to the community. So what that would do is force a political hand to see if that's something that's really needed in that area, or if we could utilize that space for something else. As the zoning and franchise and under the land use division, land use is something that's really important within our community. I think we have to access spaces and really be innovative and think how we could create possibilities for our community. I know within my office, we get a lot of inquiries on senior housing, affordable condos. Everybody wants to go into Co-op City, Tilden Towers, but the wait list is extremely long. So how can we utilize land and kind of be more innovative with it? But unfortunately, due to prior bad negotiation, we had to introduce this. Another piece of legislation that I introduced was Intro 733, which will provide career and technology opportunities for our New York City public schools. We all know, I don't know if you guys saw what Elon Musk put out the other day. They have robots. Yeah, there's $20,000 to $30,000 robots that are coming out now. They have self-driven cabs coming out. How are we making sure that our young people are going to be booming in the economy when technology is going to be the main sector? So trying to provide this within our public school systems. Going to go into quickly some fiscal budget wins that we got for 2025. Due to redistricting, I now serve parts of the Allerton community. So we were able to give 2.6 million for structural repairs for Oak Drive Mutual Housing, just so they could do some repairs within their within the development. We also gave 350,000 to Department of Sanitation and other organizations like ACE. They're the ones that wear the red shirts throughout the district, NYC H2O and other programs. We gave 300,000 to Mind Builders. They wanted to do a piano program. So they're gonna be purchasing some more programs so they could do a piano program within the community. Many of you know we upgraded the Shoelace Park, the basketball court in Shoelace Park. We did that in partnerships with Courts of Dreams. And last but not least, 45,000. We have a currently still have, if you know any parents, families out there that need assistance, we do a diaper bank with Catholic Charities. It's going all throughout the year. Participatory budgeting, something that we do in the district where people, community members in the district are coming up with ideas of how to spend $1 million. Throughout the last 3 years, we've done it. The young people, because you could start doing this from 10 years old and up, they've been very, very active. This is my outreach to make them more civically engaged. So participatory budgeting ideas are happening right now. These ideas could be any capital improvement. So if you have a school that needs technology upgrades, if you have a park that needs any upgrades as well, library, anything. Flooding area, and I'm going to go into that too, Brother Isaac. Flooding, those are things you could talk about with the participatory budgeting. Events coming. Many of you, if you don't know, I have my own monthly meeting called Community Conversation, which was as packed as this. But every month we pick a different topic. Last month was education. These aren't town halls. These are, I'm doing exactly what I'm doing now, giving feedback, giving updates on legislation, talking about funding, but also getting a lot of feedback. And I usually have the department with me. So if it's education, I'll have the New York City Public Schools. Tomorrow is sanitation, so we have Department of Sanitation. So whatever the issue is that month, the department usually comes. We talk about ideas, and I've been able to introduce legislation from these ideas. Tons of legislation from these ideas. So please, if you can, tomorrow, our next community conversation is going to be at St. Luke's, 222nd Street, and Barnes Avenue. And doors open at 6 p.m. and it's going to be at 6:30. This Saturday, I'm hosting 2 Halloween events. That's going to be at the YMCA at 12 o'clock. We're doing trunk or treat. I have a bunch of exotic cars. I have a Lamborghini coming. So if you want to bring your kids to take some pictures with some nice, beautiful cars, please bring them by. And we're also doing a tour in Co-op City as well. Excuse me, not a tour, a parade in Co-op City as well. That starts the same time. This Sunday, as you all know, is the Making Strides Breast Cancer Walk at Bay Plaza. Myself, Senator Bailey, Borough President Vanessa Gibson, Assemblymember Benedetto, we're going to have our own marching group. So we're going to meet at the Sephora at 8 a.m. Please come by. I want to give a shout out to Coach T. I know she's organizing a nonprofit huddle and resource fair at the community board next week, November 1st from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Lastly, I have a lot of services in my office, constituent services. Want to give a great shout out to Andy, who does an amazing job with Cynthia. But we also just launched our Veteran Assistance Intake Clinic. So if you know any veterans within the district that need any assistance, we have a specialist that comes to the office that helps them with housing and other issues that they may be seeing. And one last thing, we are now speaking about a pilot program to help residents who can't afford the big bins that you have to get right now. So we're trying to force a pilot program, and currently council members are trying to send a letter to the administration to give an extension on the date, because a lot of residents said that they cannot get the big bins by the date that's specified. And with that being said, I'll stop and take questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Riley, I'm sorry, but thank you so much. You didn't get to share with the team in person that you did give us a grant, and I think that's important for you to be recognized for that. Thank you for supporting our ideas. So just a special thank you. You do a lot with the youth, and I wanted to commend you on that as well. Thank you.
No problem. So we was able to approve a grant for the community board, so you guys could do your programming and some outreach as well. So thank you, Beatrice, for bringing that to our attention. And lastly, I'm the chair of zoning and franchise under land use. The City of Yes Housing Opportunity, which you guys voted on a little bit ago. We had a 14.5 long hearing on Tuesday. I actually had 2 hearings. I had to break it up. My first day was 6 hours. The second day I didn't end until midnight. We heard a lot of feedback about this proposal, and I want to just mention that this is just a proposal. The council is now working on a housing framework. My pushback, and you can see it in my testimony, I talked about infrastructure upgrades. I'm very concerned about building density and not improving our sewer system. Flooding for a lot of the homeowners over here has been a huge concern. So I am asking the administration. I talked to Senator Chuck Schumer's office to ask the federal government, and I've also been speaking to the state legislators that we really need a robust plan to improve our infrastructure when it comes to sewage. So that's something I was pushing back as well. And another thing is housing opportunities for those who want to own homes. We know now that more people want to do cooperatives instead of the natural buying a house. A lot of young people want to get cooperatives now. So really pushing the administration to add that in the plan, and deep affordability as well. And I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I'll stop and go into question.
I have a question.
Hold on.
Councilman, I just wanted to know, because you mentioned that space, the old golf course.
Yes.
With that in mind, that was the last large space in existence pertaining to where we're going to put our trucks. And I don't know, do you have any other ideas?
So that was a push that we asked MTA if we could utilize the space for the trucks. I asked for that space. I also asked for the space they have on Connor Street. It was a no from them. To be honest, the negotiations that the previous administration had with them, I guess they don't have any faith that we're going to do right with negotiating with them. That's why I introduced this resolution that kind of forces their hand because they have to do an impact study. Now, if the impact study shows that it's going to be detrimental to the community, then we could get back into the negotiation space. Now, with the truck issue, which is the huge issue, I'm hoping that next year this is going to be the major issue on the mayoral ticket, that somebody's going to address this truck issue. You guys, and I could go, I could tell you guys a lot what we've been doing with the truck issue. We just introduced legislation that requires RVs that they have to do the same thing as commercials. They can't park more than 3 hours. We have a lot of RVs in the community where people are just living in there. The trucks, we introduced legislation to extend the fine. The issue is they don't have nowhere to tow the trucks, and that's the huge issue right now. So we just have to be creative to think about where we could actually put parking regulations for the truck drivers to park, which I think will be beneficial if it's in like a manufacturing area.
Thank you.
I have a question. It's a double part. Someone else?
I'll get you.
Someone before me?
No, good, John.
Excuse me, I have a cold. I have a double question. I'm concerned about Needham and Seymour and Fenton. We have PS 78 school there, and we have two crossing guards. One is in the front of Wilson, I believe, Fish and Needham. And then the other one is in the front of the school, which is PS 78, and is covered with a security crossing guard. What concerned me in the morning between 7:45 and 8 o'clock, there is a back entrance for the parents to take their children, because the yellow bus comes and bring their children that's coming from different areas. And then, of course, you have parents bringing young kids, like pre-K, because the back door is open for them for eating breakfast meal. What concerned me is that cars do not stop. Cars go around the students. The children, first of all, let me back a little bit. I would like, which I do every morning when I take my children there to school, I always tell the parents, please walk in the crosswalk and follow the directions. They don't. They drop the cars, open the doors, drop the children off, leave the car door open, run down 4 steps, and take the kids to the lunch area. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I've written letters to all of the elected officials on this. I got a response back from one office. I'm not sure if it was your office, Councilman Raleigh, or either Bailey, Senator Bailey's office, but I am seriously concerned about 40 to 50 kids from my after-school program and also from other after-school programs. I think Ms. Johnson kids go that route as well. I am it scared the life out of me. I fell once. That's why, I didn't injure my knee falling there. But they are repairing the areas, the streets, they're repairing it. And it haven't been covered with the top layer of tar on top of it. So it's very ruggedy, And I tell you, Councilman, it was the Heavenly Father that saved me and a child 2 weeks ago. This car went around us in order to cross over the PS 78. I've spoken to Ms. Roberts, because we are very friendly in contact and talking to each other. In the afternoon, I can't do it. In the afternoon, I'm very busy. But she has sent a couple of parents and herself in the back of the school to make sure the kids cross and the bus don't cover the crosswalk. I am very serious, Councilman. It scares the life out of me between 7:45 in the morning to 8 o'clock, because I'm out there every morning taking my children, 4, 5, 6 kids that the parents drops off at my office, my school. I'm there at 6:30 in the morning because I have nurses and doctors that go to work, fire department people, they have to be there at a certain time. So I open my doors at 7 o'clock, and by 7:45, I take the kids there, especially those that want to have breakfast in the morning time. Since September to now, which is October going into November, It has been very hectic. In fact, you could send a representative or anyone in the morning to see for yourself, okay? And I tell them all the time, the cab drivers that drop off kids, sometimes parents put the kids in the cab and drop them off, and it's very, very nervous and heartbroken to me to see the kids cross that way. And it's the parents' fault as well, because they should be very careful themselves.
So, thank you, Dr. Goff. As a parent myself that drops all three of his kids off every morning and picks all three of his kids up, I experienced that as well at my daughter's school, my daughter's and son's daycare as well. I think this is a citywide issue for a lot of parents that needs to be spoken about with DOT, that they need to set areas and work with the school system and the crossing guards that they have drop-off locations in front of the school for parents. If you go to Co-op City in the morning time by PS 153, Truman, 180 is hectic. By my daughter's school at BxCB Academy, it's hectic. When you go to PS 111, it's hectic as there. We could go on and on about different schools, but what I would do for that specific issue, unfortunately for us, the Bronx DOT commissioner is Anthony Perez, and he lives in this district. I host tours with him monthly where we talk about different ways we could do speed abatements within the communities. I will bring this up to his attention, and maybe we could have a speed camera right there that could at least, slow things down. Also, we could talk about putting another crossing guard there as well. That could be an option. But I think a more comprehensive option is to work with New York City Public Schools and DOT and NYPD, because that's the crossing guards as well, to make sure that they have a comprehensive plan to address it.
Even a slow down, like a sign that says slow.
The signs are cool, but they're not going to respect it. But they'll respect a speed camera. Nobody wants a speeding ticket, so
Needs to be done.
yeah. A speed bump too could be a different option as well. I will follow up with this.
Karen go and then Bobby. And then Wayne. Go ahead, Karen. In the microphone.
The flooding situation that's going on really throughout the whole Bronx area. I think they can continue to do some more studies because in the Tilden area, we've been flooding around there way before the extreme weather has been coming. I understand we're underneath of a stream. We brought this up to the DEP when they were here and they were discussing about how, the new housing is the only way that they were going to put in new pipes, and it would take like umpteen amount of years to put new sewer lines and put new pipes in. When they were here, they came by and cleaned one drain, what do you call it, the drainage? The catch basin, and then left the other three there untouched. It was brought to my attention also, I'm not sure this is your area, but the library that's over on Cantona, Woodland Heights, over there, one of the parents were discussing about how they don't have, because in order to be ADA compliant, you're supposed to have these changing tables. The library is very small. They can't have the changing table because the building is small, and it was supposed to be renovated just before COVID. And after speaking to the librarian that's in that building, they just never followed through with the renovations that were supposed to happen with some of these libraries. It's just not, I know they just gave a lot of money to the library here, but some of the other libraries also have to come into compliance also.
So a lot of the money that comes to the library comes from me.
Comes from who?
My office over here.
Yeah.
So that's why libraries are priority for public space is a priority. I came into office and said I wanted to help with capital improvements in the district. That's been my main initiative. So if you see a lot of the upgrades that happen in this area, that's because that has been a priority for me. I don't represent that area. I don't represent that library, but what I can do, if you want the librarian to reach out to the office, I could facilitate and mediate a conversation with the member that does represent the area and pretty much showcase how I was able to get funding to my district, that they could possibly help them out.
So I do.
I'm sorry to cut you off. And the flooding issue, I know we are waiting to have a conversation with myself, the speaker, Senator Bailey, and Congressmember Torres to address the flooding issue that's happening in Tilden.
Right. And so what I don't understand is you say that area across from Home Depot is owned by what, the MTA?
MTA,
So they'll allow the electric cars to be parked there.
electric buses.
Oh, the electric buses.
Yeah, it's going to be electric bus depot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
All right.
Because I was like, but they won't share it with the trucks.
Robert,
Hey, Robert.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for the update on City of Yes. Just if you could just be a little bit more specific, what you think are going to be, the projected timeline. Do you anticipate a vote in the next couple of weeks? And amendments, how will that play out?
So currently, right now, we got a lot of feedback from the public, and we got a lot of written testimony. So right now, the team, myself, the land use chair, we have to dissect all that feedback that we got, and we're going to be doing a lot of modification. The council's in a pretty good position right now with the administration to negotiate to get this fulfilled. We have to vote on it by November 18th, and the following stated before Thanksgiving is when we have to vote on it out according to the city charter. So between now and November 18th, there's going to be a lot of negotiations. We're able to go back to testimony and say, hey, a lot of constituents were concerned about ADUs, accessible dwelling units, TODs, transit-oriented districts, town centers. These were things that a lot of members were considered and really worried about. So right now, it's just a negotiation process, and we have to vote on it by November 18th. So that's the next step.
Quickly, about the City of Yes also.
Yes.
One thing that we're really concerned about is the density, right?
Yes.
How many people will be allowed to move into those communities? A lot of people move into this neighborhood because of the single family, two family, three family home.
Correct.
If you start to expand that, then we're talking about a significant density, right? I'm not quite sure how this is going to be implemented. And that's another concern of mine. Assuming that this thing passes and it goes through, will it be like the housing with the homeless, where the Bronx get inundated with
So
and other communities don't? I mean, how is it going to be implemented where we won't be adversely affected by the so-called City of Yes, if it is passed and passed in the form that they want it passed?
So how would it affect this district with homelessness, you're
No,
saying?
I'm saying that no, the homeless issue here and housing.
Yes.
The Bronx get an extraordinary number of housing, and we have no say in the homeless population and where homes are being built. City of Yes, is that going to be any different? Will we have a say once this is passed? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you're saying is the power of the community board is going to be taken out of it. To my recollection and what the chair of city planning is saying to me, 99% of projects are still going to have to go through the community board and council still for approval. This will just expedite the process of possibilities of what can be built within the community.
Okay, one last thing, and regarding the trucks, I never see tickets on those trucks. One thing that you can't tow them, but at least, hurt them in the pocket. You hurt someone in the pocket, you tend to less likely to park your trucks in certain places. I drive by 50 million times, and you never see any tickets, so I'm not quite sure what the enforcement is like in terms of going on, in terms of the ticket portion of it. Yeah, I understand there's no space to tow them and place those trucks, but you can at least put tickets on the truck and let the drivers feel the pain of the money coming out of their pockets. And that's not even being done.
Yeah, I agree with you. The enforcement has been lacking with the police department. It comes from the space of, all right, we're going to ticket them and they're not going to do anything about it, the drivers. And hearing from the drivers, the ticket is actually cheaper than them actually storing it. So then the next move was, all right, we have to increase the ticket prices now. So that's what we're doing. But I want to also be honest and transparent. I represent those drivers too. A lot of them do live in the district, and this is their ways of living. So that's why I'm trying to figure out a way that we could have an area that they could park And if I give you the area that you could park and you still choose to park in the area that you're not supposed to park, then you're gonna get ticketed heavy. And also the NYPD after, and hopefully we pass this, they have to make sure that they're doing the enforcement, which I'm gonna have a conversation with the inspector. We have a bi-monthly meeting. And I'm gonna speak to him about how many trucks has he ticketed. I have trucks in front of my office and that doesn't look good for me, obviously. So this is a huge issue for me as well. But it has to be a priority for the mayoral candidate. I feel next year that they make a priority that I know housing's a big issue in New York City, but these trucks and quality of life is also a huge issue as well. So if you guys run into any of them, please make sure that you mention this.
And one last thing, I don't want to take up all the time, but there's been a chronic problem of drug sales on the corner of 220th Street and
We're working on that right now.
you know about that.
You are the 17th person that said
Okay,
something about that.
Thank you very much.
220th Street. And just to be honest, the police department did 3 arrests the last 2 weeks regarding it there. I don't want to give too much information because I know there's ongoing investigations going on.
Okay, thank you much.
All right, Carl?
How you doing, Carl?
Okay, how you doing? Disappointing information on the Woodlawn Library. Do you remember Stanley Simon? Yeah, well, he,
The former county chair, like 30 chairs ago. But go ahead.
yeah, well, he put in his budget, almost $100 million to redo Woodlawn Library. Whatever happened to that money, I have no idea, because every year we went back and asked them, it's coming. And then his followers came and stated, well, yeah, we're working on it. Now, it's got to be at least 30 some odd years that this happened. So I don't know whatever happened to the money for the Woodlawn Library. In fact, there was a church diagonally across from the Woodlawn Library that offered them vacant land, excuse me, next to the church to build a new library. Nothing has ever happened. When it comes to Woodlawn Library, it's overlooked every time in the library budget. Everybody claims they have no knowledge of it. But if you go through the records of Bronx Borough President's office, you will see money was allocated to put a second floor on that building. The landlord approved it, and zilch has happened. So disappointing information. When you talk to Dinowitz.
Oh, I'm sorry about that call. So I could definitely speak to Councilmember Dinowitz because Woodlawn Library is in his district. 100 million seems like a lot of money for libraries, especially you said 30 something years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Stanley Simon was the county chair before Roberto
All right.
Ramirez.
So how we'll go is the librarian will alert Councilmember Dinowitz's office and also the borough president's office on specific upgrades that they want to see within the library. And then when we go into, we're in FY25 budget, starting in February, we start negotiating FY26 budget. Councilmember Dinowitz and myself, we just got elevated to the budget negotiation team, which gives us a lot of leverage when it comes to the budget. So I say that last year was my first budget, and also Councilmember Dinowitz. I know he comes to the board meeting a lot. I'll speak to him, but I'll also bring it up to his attention as well. No problem.
All right, Deborah Torado. We want the councilman to come back, so, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay, so I have some concerns about, is Bartow Avenue by the bus stop, the gas station, the Edson, thank you. And I know about the trucks. I'm a CDL driver. And so I do understand in the plights of the drivers, the big trucks. And yes, they do need a place that is safe, that they can park and, you know, enjoy our community also. And we do need them because we do need them to deliver, you know, goods to our community. I think that partnering with MTA, because they do have a spot on Corner Street, they just fix buses there. So that could be a nice spot for trucks to park in that area back there, that they can probably partner with some of the truckers. They need baths and stuff, and a place just to park. And plus they flooding up Edson and Bartow badly, causing also dumping debris. Is just dirty, that whole area. I don't know what it is about that bus stop and that whole mall area and all alongside the corridor of getting off the highway and MTA Gun Hill Depot.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
So two issues. Bartow area, the issue why the quality of life is horrible over there is the illegal vendors. I think they increased the amount of garbage that you have over there. So over there is the illegal cannabis trucks, which I've been contacting the sheriff's office to do our tour. I see online they go to different districts and they're doing their thing. But I've been asking them to come to my district, but unfortunately, the sheriff's office is going through some stuff right now. So I'm just waiting for them to answer me back. As soon as that happens, that will help me get rid of those illegal cannabis trucks. And then I need the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection to come out and actually follow up with the street vendors over there. So I know over there, and I feel sorry for him because he's been there for a long period of time, but there's a fruit vendor over there. He's there, but since he's been there, other vendors come there as well. We have the person that comes there and serves the jerk chicken. And then once he came there, there's like an extra 2 carts over there as well. Also, there's a big piece of land over there to contact the person that owns that land. And I only get to speak to them around like holiday time because they usually do the holiday trees and things like that. But to see if they could have more people come out and clean up around there, or even turn that into a garden so it could kind of beautify the area a little bit, or open space. Now, yeah, they still have to clean it up. Now, the MTA area, when MTA turns that into the electric depot, when we contact them, they send people out there to clean it up. The issue is being that it's not maintained all the time because it's not a priority for them right now. We have to always call them. When it opens up as an electric bus depot, unfortunately, hopefully it doesn't, it will be better maintained. But this will actually, the bill will actually make them do the impact study to see how they're keeping the area, the buses coming off the area. That will play a role into how we can kind of push the end as well.
Is that everybody? You good, Deborah? All right, cool. Thank you, Councilman.
Sorry, George, we have questions online.
Online.
Council member, I just have a question follow up to what Wayne was mentioning in terms of developers being mandated to come to the board. And I think the concern that as a board we have is that as of right developers that are not mandated to come across the community boards, are there any provisions or safety measures put into place so that that isn't the norm?
It's not in the City of Yes proposal. We could speak about it in the housing framework, but it's really challenging to tell somebody what they could do with their land if they're in the regulations of the zone. It's really, really hard. It's as of right. If I'm in the regulation of a R4 district and I want to build R4 and I want to build a house that the building department gave me my permit and they approved and everyone on the block doesn't like it, it's still as of right. So it can be a discussion to talk about in the district. Maybe even if it's as of right, they still have to send a courtesy message out to the district just to let them know what they're building. But I'm not sure if any provisions to kind of force their hand in case they did want to build something different, kind of like how Stag does. Like, he'll build something, you don't kind of know what the building will turn out to be. So maybe it will force, a developer like that's hand to at least let you know that they're building this type of house, and that gives the community board kind of a head start to protest or kind of get pushback.
That would be a request on behalf of the board if you could advocate for something to be put into place. That's a common thing that comes out with developers like Stags, that they're as of right, so they don't inform us. And then those developments do end up turning into shelters when folks can't afford it. So if you can advocate for us, we would really appreciate it to have something where they, even if they're not mandated, a letter of courtesy, something would be helpful. Thank you.
All right.
Ms.
I
Boswell has a
I don't
question.
see any of the hands raised.
George, I think Ms. Boswell has. a
Oh.
question. You turn the button on Ms. Boswell.
I just wanted to add to Deborah's complaint. On Edson Avenue, that's not a truck route. So why do the trucks go down Edson Avenue? It's not part of the truck route. New England Thruway is, but not Edson Avenue. And they come through Edson Avenue speeding and then go straight down to Bartow.
You said why they come down Edson Avenue?
Yeah, because it's not a truck route. What
I'm
makes
pretty
it?
sure to beat traffic or just to bypass
So is there any way that we can combat that? And that might help eliminate some of the trucks.
You want me to give you a
from
political answer or an honest answer? I mean, it is, yeah, it's hard to do that. I'll tell you one thing. I don't want to tell you on camera because it's a secret, but there's a camera over there
I
somewhere.
know there is. I
Yeah,
figured it was.
so there's a camera over there somewhere that, my issue with the truck drivers is they'll come there, they'll park and they'll like repair their trucks. And then as they're repairing their trucks, you have people that come and dump over there, because they'll dump behind the trucks. I don't know how I could combat them from, parking over there. I could combat them from dumping or issuing tickets if they're messing up the quality of life over there, which they have been doing.
Oh, we,
Think. Yeah.
all right. Just so the board, there's one hand raised from a Patricia McDowell. This is for the board members, so we're not allowing questions from the public. We have other elected officials and their representatives that are waiting patiently to speak. We want to thank Councilmember Riley for being here with us. He has always been present, so thank you for being here. John, you have the list, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, moving on with elected officials, we have Freddie from Councilman Denowitz's office.
Good evening, everyone. It is very nice to see all of you beautiful people today. So I'm going to keep my update pretty brief. I just want to go over some basic things that I wanted to share with you all. Give me 1 second so I can make sure I have everything up here. Okay, so speaking of libraries, which I believe we were a little while ago, our office was able to make some ADA upgrades for the Wakefield Library with the help of the Borough President, Vanessa Gibson, to the tune of about $360,000. So this is especially great for people who have mobility issues. So ADA compliance is very important to make sure everyone can enjoy the library. And then we also gave away 500 backpacks to PSTS 16, which is in the area. I was there. We had a lot of fun. There was cotton candy, popcorn, games for everybody. We also got to give away a few food boxes for families in need. Then I also wanted to go over some things in constituent services. So we have registered a very high number of voters in the past 2 weeks, about 7 to 8, maybe even 9. So while that number is small, we anticipate that it will encourage other people to come in, so it's going to grow. And then we want to make sure that we're talking to people about civic engagement, and making sure that they're registering to vote. So if you have questions about how to register to vote or where to register to vote or about polling places, you can definitely call the office or come in, and we're happy to give you some information about that. And we also have been registering a lot of older adults who are first-time voters as well. So if you know someone that's curious about registering to vote but doesn't know how, please give us a call. I'll give my information once I wrap, just to make sure everyone has it. We've also seen an uptick in people looking for employment. So we've been working with Breast Swamps Housing, who's really great about finding different resources, employment opportunities, housing. So if you have someone that's looking for a job, looking for different types of jobs, please give us a call. We also learned that ACE has been taking out tons of trash in the community. So about 88,000 pounds of trash since January of this year. And we also, just piggybacking, West Bronx Housing, if you would like to meet with them, we have a woman named Grace that comes every once so often. She's wonderful. Even if not for you, for someone else in the neighborhood. They'll be there next month on the 19th. So another thing to share. So speaking of civic engagement, Councilmember Dinowitz's last hearing for the Higher Education Committee was on that topic. So CUNY is a leader on the issue, and even though there are some improvements that can be made, they're going to work on those improvements to better engage students. He just signed on to Intro 1069 to increase enforcement for illegally parked trucks in relation to reducing the maximum time commercial vehicles may be parked. And then last but not least, we have a couple other things to talk about for ballot proposals. The council member's perspective is that proposal 2 to 6, it gives a lot more power and a lot more responsibility to the mayor instead of the council, which can propose an issue for some of the community's best interests. So that's something to be aware of. If you want to talk about the ballot proposals, please reach out. We'll go over them. We can't tell you how to vote, which way to vote, but we can always share information. So you can make the informed decisions you want to make for yourself. And let's see, City of Yes. So there was a hearing. So the City of Yes hearing and survey. A lot of people are concerned about City of Yes, as we've heard tonight. So we have a survey. So if you want to participate in the survey, you're going to visit ericdinowitz.nyc, the slash that goes to your left, so / City of Yes, and you can give us your feedback, honest opinions there. We would love to hear from you. We welcome it. And then that is it for me for updates. And if you need to reach me, you can reach me at the district office, 718-549-7300. You can email me. I prefer emails because the phones get busy, but you can reach me at F like Frank, L like lemon, A like apple, T like Tom, C like cat, H like Henry, MAN like the word man, at council.com. So F Latchman at council. Thank you for your time. Any questions for me? Yes.
So you heard our discussions, we spoke about the library. That's his area, right?
It is.
So are you going to make sure that you bring these issues up to him?
Absolutely, because I love the library. I'm wearing my MTA bag today, but we do love the library. So if you want, before everybody wraps up, is it okay if we talk and I'll get your feedback, additional information? We can chat tomorrow.
I don't live in the area, but I frequent that library. Yeah.
A workaround is you're a concerned citizen that has concerns about the library, and that library is in our district, so I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we can talk about the Woodlawn Library as well, sir, if you have time. I'm happy to talk about that and grab the council member tomorrow and talk to him about it. If not tomorrow, then definitely I'll send him an email tonight, tomorrow morning, so that he knows and it's on his radar. That's okay. Beat me to it. So any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have Kimberly McNabb, our president's office.
Hello, good evening. I just have a couple of announcements and details for upcoming events. I'll try to be brief. So this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The Borough President launched her annual 31 Days of Action for Domestic Violence Awareness campaign in partnership with the DIVA Coalition, her Domestic and Gender-Based Violence Advisory Council, and other groups to highlight the critical work of Bronx-based organizations and city agencies working to protect, counsel, educate, and support survivor families while enforcing policy to ensure Bronx residents are equipped with the resources to support their loved ones who might be experiencing domestic violence. We also celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month. On October 3rd, we had a big event at the Borough Hall with a couple of different partners. And I'm sure a lot of people saw, and I think some of you participated in the 30th anniversary of the Tour de Bronx. That was our big bike ride on October 6th. We had over 4,000 cyclists participate this year. There were 3 different riding options, 10-mile, 25, and 40-mile routes that took bikers throughout the whole borough. It was a beautiful day. I congratulate anyone who participated in it. It was just a wonderful event. Earlier this month, she also made an announcement with Speaker Heastie, Assemblymember Septimo, Health and Hospitals to announce a $6 million allocation for the Bronx first full-service recovery center. This center will be located at, do we have an address? Sorry, we don't have an address. The announcement was made at Lincoln Hospital, but the center will serve as a one-stop shop, tripling the number of patients currently being treated for opioid use in the South Bronx. The announcement fulfills a pledge made during her State of the Borough speech earlier this year that was addressing the alarming high number of opioid-related overdoses in the Bronx. Last week, we also celebrated Italian American Heritage Month at the Bronx Zoo. It was a very nice celebration. And then quickly, we have some upcoming events. I also have flyers for all of these events, which I'll leave. Tomorrow, we're having a Halloween skate party in Loretto Playground. That's at 111 Van Nest Avenue. It's from 4 to 7 p.m. Saturday, we will be having a Fordham Night Market Silent Disco Party. That's from 4 to 6 p.m. at 1 Fordham Plaza. Earlier on that same Saturday, we'll be supporting the 7th annual 5K run, walk, roll against domestic violence with Bronx District Attorney Darcel Clark. That event begins and ends on East 161st Street between Grand Concourse and Walton Avenue, so basically by the courthouse. And then on Monday, we'll be having a healthy conversation event with the borough president. The topic will be breast cancer. That's on Monday from 12 to 2 at the Metro Plus Community Office. The address is 25 East Fordham Road. So with that, that's all I had as far as announcements, but does anyone have any questions or anything since I'm here? Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Kimberly. Tima from the Bronx DA's office.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fatmata Kamara. I'm a community engagement coordinator with the Office of the Bronx District Attorney. I am also here to talk about the 5K walk, run, roll against domestic violence happening this Saturday at 9:30 a.m. on 161st Street. We're partnering with the Yankees, the Borough President's Office, and Urban Resource Institution. So please come. We have over 800 applicants, and we are definitely looking for more. You'll be able to get a race bib. You'll also get a medal, and there'll just be great resources if you know anyone in that situation. So please make sure that you come out, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ivan Neds, he's online. Ivan, you can
Hello,
hear me?
everyone. My name is Ivan Neds. I'm here from Assemblyman Jeffrey Dinowitz's office. Just got a few updates. The first one being thank you everyone who came out for our shredding event in Woodlawn. We partnered earlier this month with the Woodlawn Library as well as the Emerald Isle Immigration Center, and we had a pretty good turnout. So thanks to everybody that came out. And speaking of the Woodlawn Library, which seems pretty popular tonight, our office was contacted back in May regarding the updates regarding the renovations, and I sent an inquiry. I know this project has been discussed for many years, well before COVID, and the response that I received was that unfortunately the project had been delayed, obviously. The Department of Design and Construction provided the following updated timeline. Now, the design for the project was scheduled to be completed this past summer. So I guess I can send another inquiry just to see whether or not that was completed with a construction start time of summer of 2025 and going for 2-year construction. So obviously the capital funding that was raised was $10,739,413 with the completion date scheduled for December 1st of 2027. Now that's back from May, so I can't say whether or not any of that's been pushed back as well, but I can certainly send an inquiry to see if I can get any updates. But aside from that, I will be leaving well, shouldn't finish it off with that because I still have the update from the Assemblyman. Earlier this year, Assemblyman Dinowitz passed legislation to increase the amount of speed cameras throughout the city. It was to authorize for additional intersections. Right now, there's about 150 that are sorry, that are authorized, and this would raise the total number of intersections approved for red light cameras to 600. So we're hoping that this helps improve, safety throughout the city, and it was signed yesterday, so that will be law going forward. Like I said, I'll leave my information in the chat, and unless there's any questions, that's about it.
Thanks, Ivan.
No problem.
Covino from the Eastchester Library. Yeah, he's on that. Georgia's coming.
Good evening, all. My name is Vincent Corvino. I'm representing the New York Public Library, the Eastchester Branch Library. I'm here today just to give you a little information on what our branch is offering at the Eastchester Branch Library. November 15th, between 3:30 p.m. and 4:30 p.m., we have a food fair. Join us for free food kits, children's backpacks, books, and community resources. 50 food kits will be distributed on a first come, first served basis. I'm happy to announce at the New York Public Library, the Eastchester branch at 1385 East Gun Hill Road, we have an after-school program that's it's been a very nice success. It's Monday to Thursday for kids ages 6 to 12 from 3 to 6 p.m. It's free homework help for the children. We've been getting a lot of children coming in for that. So if you want to spread the news, it's really helpful and it's helping the children. I'd like to announce my program that I've been doing for the past 18 years at this branch. It's called Little Movers Story Time. I start with the children for a playroom. I start with the kids with the toys on the floor. I let them play for about a half an hour. Then we do cleanup, everybody do their share. I sing a song to them. We do the ABCs in English, Spanish, and Italian because I speak Italian. We also do the numbers. I'm starting them on numbers. They're doing the numbers in English, Spanish, and Italian. And then we go into an arts and craft. And it's been a pretty big success. Over the summer, we had like up to 60 kids in there, believe it or not. So I've been doing pretty good with that program, and I'm proud of myself for that. Last but not least, we have something called STEM kits. STEM kits are discovery kits that we are serving for circulation for fun, educational, STEAM toys, and books for children and tweens. The goal is to help kids build new comfort and learn the interest in STEM topics by giving them the tools to explore science and technology in their homes. They could borrow this for up to 3 weeks and they could return it. For anyone here that has any questions on this, again, this is the Eastchester Branch Library at 1385 East Gun Hill Road. Our number is 718-653-3292. My manager, Ms. Rojas, Stephanie Rojas, will be more than happy to answer any questions. I'm her second in charge. Thank you very much for your time, folks, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention something. Myself, Senator Bailey, and Speaker Hasty, we fund a team program at the YMCA. It happens every day, Monday through Friday, from 3 o'clock till the YMCA closes. Not till till 8 p.m. We do tech programs, we do culinary programs, we teach kids how to swim, and there's other programs that we're adding into it now. So if you have any teens and you want them somewhere safe, you just have to go in the YMCA and fill out the application for the teen program.
This is exciting. There's a lot going on in the neighborhood.
Refund.
Great. Online, is there any more elected officials or their representatives online? Just double checking, open and pass anyone.
Good, John.
Sorry, I had a quick question. Can I ask Kevin Riley a quick question? Is that possible? I know that we kind of already left that.
Yeah, you could go ahead.
Thank you. I just had a quick question about White Plains Road. Oh, hi, how you doing?
Hey.
A quick question about White Plains Road. We already know about the bike lane and how people are parking on White Plains Road. It's really hard for cars to get through. I know that it was discussed to do back-end parking, to like try to put up signs, let people do back-end parking. That way it could free up White Plains Road just a little bit. Does that go through your office, or does that go through DOT, like transportation? Like, kind of where are we with that? Because White Plains Road is just getting worse, and then it's bad over by just bad all over.
So I share the same sentiments, and I held a tour with Anthony Perez. It's on my social media platform, so you could actually see what we were talking about on White Plains Road. I would strongly suggest to advocate for him to come to a meeting, share the concerns. When I shared that with him, there was no urgency to change what they put on White Plains Road. They just want to make it more evident to let people know that they can't park certain places. So I would strongly suggest to have Anthony come to the meeting and share those requests with him. Also, when we do our town hall community conversation regarding transportation, if we could get more residents there to actually give their input on this, because the first one we had, I only had 2 residents there at my community conversation. And that was kind of hard for me to say, hey, people are having issues with this, and nobody kind of showed up.
Understood. Andy?
Anthony Perez.
Anthony Perez.
Yeah, Anthony Perez. But you could work on my office and we could facilitate that correspondence.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
John, Rennell Ogilvy from Senator Bailey's office raised his hand.
Okay. Could go ahead.
Hi, this is Rennell from State Senator Jamal T. Bailey's office. So we had several events. First of all, I like to introduce myself. I am the district director. Our office is located at 959 East 233rd Street, Bronx, New York, 10466. We're in between Gunther and Edenwall. So lately we had our Hispanic Heritage event that was this past Saturday. It was a good turnout. Also, we have our upcoming event, which is tomorrow. It's the Screen and Protect. I believe Councilman Riley mentioned it, but I'll mention it again. It's free mammogram event at the YMCA. That's from 2 to 4 p.m. You'd have to RSVP to reserve a spot. If you would like to attend, you can contact our office, or I can put the bit.ly link in the chat. Also, we have a haunted house that is October 30th from 3 to 6 p.m. In collaboration with Bragg, and that's 825 East 233rd Street from 3 to 6 p.m. You could contact our office for that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna now have our community board chairwoman's greet and updates.
I'll be quick because I'll mostly talk about it at the executive committee, but since we have our elected representatives there, just so that we can try and lock in dates, and even with Councilmember Riley, Congressman Torres is sponsoring a legislative breakfast for CB12 to speak about our priorities and concerns that we have at the district level. And the 2 dates that are floating around, we're waiting for Congressman Torres's confirmation. It's either January 11th or January 25th, I believe it is. So those are 2 dates that we're going to float around. But for the representative of elected officials that are on the call, if you can please pencil in those dates as tentative for a legislative breakfast at CB12 is going to host, and Congressman Torres is sponsoring. We can move on to the district manager's report.
Thanks, Beatrice.
Thank you.
All right. I wasn't here last month, so I do apologize for that. It was family weekend at my son's school, and I'd never try to miss that. I wanted to start by we got 10 new board members over the summer, and I don't know if they were recognized, but that's why we have the name tags today or the placards. So I want to thank Ursula for putting that together. But if the new board members can stand. You want me to introduce? Oh, they were introduced already?
No, she said to introduce. No, they weren't.
They weren't. Oh, that's what they asked me to do this. That's all right. So Dominique Finn, Mame Mensa, Nicholas Rosa, Karen Skinner, Sabrina Fisher, Jaslyn Farmer is here. Maybe online. No? All right. Elise Murray? Am I saying that right? All right, cool. And Tierra Donaldson? Carlton Burke? There he is. Should we say Carlton or you prefer Chucky? I know you as Chucky, so I'm just, all right.
I was like, who's that?
All right, and Alpha Camara. So these are all our new board members. They're going to be hanging with us for the next 2 years, so welcome them. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And I don't know how long the last month's meeting is, but I will be very, very, very brief. I'm going to try and summarize so that we can get you out of here. You all have this report. It was emailed to you, so I'm not going to read it verbatim, but I was asked to speak about our district needs statement. So one of our responsibilities as a community board is to put together a district needs statement. And as part of putting that statement together, we have to come together to sort of, one, identify what the needs are of the community, and two, prioritize those needs so that we can go to the city agencies and say, hey, this is our list of things that that we'd like to see. We've already discussed some of those things tonight. We spoke about trucks. We spoke about the Woodlawn Library. We spoke about, hold on. We spoke about flooding. And our Parks Committee, chaired by Luke Zabados, was very successful several months ago with the Bronx River Alliance. They were able to secure grant funding from the federal government to lift the parks properties out of Shoelace Park in the floodplain. Was it $5 million? Yeah, it was $5 million through the advocacy of this board and the Bronx River Alliance. That is one of the projects. So for example, we have a district needs statement. It's on our website. It's on the city's website as well, under city planning. For many, many years, everybody talks about the YMCA. This councilman talked about all the partnership that he's been able to do with the YMCA. The YMCA was our #1 request for well over 25 years. And when we had the right leadership in place, our current council member and our previous council members, our speaker, our borough president, they were all able to contribute and made the Y happen. Right now, the #1 priority we have is Shoelace Park. And there's a master plan for Shoelace Park. It's $150 million. Obviously, the Parks Department doesn't have that kind of money. So we have to prioritize what projects we'd like to see first and do it piecemeal, because obviously there's a lot of other projects that are happening across the Bronx. Orchard Beach is also happening. It's not in our district, but that's another like 100 million plus project that's going on that has to be done in stages. So, that's what our responsibility is. Now, the deadline that I was asked to speak about is October 31st. I've already told city planning we're in the midst of a sort of reorganization of our committee structure, so it's going to take us a little bit. But these are the things to talk about. Again, there's already a good framework there. I can send out, what I'll do to this evening is I'll print it out. I'll go to the website, print it out, and I'll email you a hard copy so that you can see what is already on the list. Those are for capital projects. We also have requests and priorities for expense side stuff. And just so that you understand what the difference is, capital are like infrastructure costs, renovations, construction, hard cost things, computers at school, usually north of $35,000. So that's capital. Expense stuff is programmatic costs. You want to hire staff, or you want to hire a consultant, or you want to do something. Those are, you want more cops on the street, that's program monies. That's an expense item. That's not a capital cost. So that is, I think, everything. Oh, the one thing I didn't say, we spoke about the trucks, but more specifically, I know that Wayne and Robert Link and a number of other board members, and the questions actually came up, Ariel just raised it with the councilman, talking to DOT and to DSNY about White Plains, talking to DSNY about White Plains Road and how do we make it better, talking to DOD about creative streetscapes so that we can prevent truck parking and stuff like that. I think Patricia Boswell asked, like, why are they coming down Edson Avenue? There's nothing we can really do unless you put a cop at the beginning of Edson Avenue and like, hey, we're not gonna, you can't, but they'll just park someplace else. So those are the types of things that we can have a conversation with our city agencies and put that together. So I mean, if you guys have any questions regarding that, feel free to talk to me offline. Shoot me emails, call me in the office. Ursula and I are here. We've been doing this for decades. And you know, we're excited to work with all of you on putting this stuff together. I always end it by saying today marks my 3,371st day as your district manager, or 9 years, 2 months, and 22nd day of my tenure here. I am grateful for each and every day at the board. Thank you for your patience, and good night.
Thanks, George. Next on the agenda is the approval of the board minutes for September.
We got it late today, so we didn't send it out. It's okay. We'll do it next.
Table it?
Yeah, we'll table it.
Is there executive committee report?
Yes, thank you for chairing today, Second Vice Chair John. So to piggyback off of what George said, there are a few things that we will follow. So next steps. Committees have been consolidated, and so the goal here is that now, as George mentioned, there is a deadline for us to submit our priorities. And so what we proposed is that the committee meetings that are coming up is when the co-chairs will guide you, and then you will prioritize a few things that we will then submit as request. So please, you already know what committees you're a part of. And next month is going to be really important for us to kind of delineate what are the things that we're going to say are priorities. We speak a lot about infrastructure. We talked a lot about the flooding issues. There's other things that we are interested in prioritizing. This is actually like a wish list for us. It doesn't mean that we will get the allocation, but it definitely will help. Another thing that we've been talking a lot about is urban planner, to get somebody to do these kind of studies for us. And so Councilmember Riley gave us 5,000. That is not enough to cover all the kind of studies and things that we do want to do. So there are other avenues. We have been talking about this grant through the Fordham Community Thriving. Councilmember Dinowitz did connect us with Hunter College. So there are some avenues that we may be able to use to do some of these studies and things that we've been envisioning. So make sure that you join your committee meetings next month. So in reviewing my executive committee report, that was one of them. We finalize what are the days that we will be meeting. And so I will share this for you to all to see. And actually, you should have all received this report at the beginning of this week, but let me see how I share this. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay. So what we finalized was that Committee 1 will be meeting the second Monday of the month. So however, November, the second Monday of the month, it does fall on Veterans Day. So we're going to have to figure out an alternative day for that one. But regularly, committee meeting number 1 will be meeting the second Monday of the month. Committee number 2 will be meeting the first Thursday of the month. Committee 3 will be meeting the second Thursday of the month. Executive committee will meet the third Monday of the month. And so now I'm going to stop sharing. And so that's my report. I'd like to, can somebody make a motion to accept the report?
Beatrice, you have a
Hold on,
question?
we have some questions, Beatrice.
Yes.
Yes, this is Deborah Walker. My question is, I see the schedule of the meetings, and am I understanding that this schedule was done solely by the executive board? Was there an opportunity for any conversation around those days that were selected?
Yes, and so Deb, the way that works is that the executive committee met. We decided, on these dates, we came up with these dates, but this is a recommendation. And so now you have the opportunity to vote yes or no. That meeting was open to all board members. The executive committee members are the ones that make the recommendations, but we do accept input from the board. And so there were other board members that were there present with us.
Okay, that didn't sound like a recommendation. That sounded like these are the dates.
So
I was online for that meeting, and I did not hear an opportunity to talk about the date. I actually wrote in the chat that that was not a good date for me per se, and I can only speak for myself. But I listened to hear where that conversation went, and I never heard an opportunity to have any input as to what days were being selected.
Thank you for that. So the process, Deborah, and for all board members, new board members, things that are discussed at committee level, committee members are the ones that come up with the recommendation. Then after that, it comes to the full board, and that's when everybody gets the opportunity to ask questions, provide input, vote yes or no. Okay.
Motion's on the floor. The motion.
Anyone else?
Is there a motion on the floor? Is there a second? It's been properly moved in a second. Could we call a roll?
As a note to all board members, if you decide to go on virtual and you have not informed the office that you're going on virtual, for whatever the reason may be, you'll be marked as absent, not absent, but you will be able to vote. You must inform the office that you will be on virtual. It's almost like you're not being here anyway. So I just want everybody, especially the new board members, because I think there's a couple of new board members that are on the screen that I'm looking at, and I know they didn't inform the office that they were going to be on virtual, but that's part of the rules for board members.
Can I add to that?
So-
I mean,
sorry.
really, we'd prefer everyone to appear at the meeting. I mean, the virtual is just an option, but we'd like everyone, we'd like to make quorum every time we have a meeting.
Absolutely right.
I'm advising you, everyone should appear in person every time we have a meeting.
And if you're on virtual, you must be visible. Now, we have a quorum here in the building, so we can go forward with everything we are doing tonight. And as I'm looking at the screen, there are quite a few people who are on virtual that are not present on their screen. So that's going to create a little problem. But right now, I'm getting ready to call the roll call. Judith Benitez, aye. Carl Berkeley. Carla Basardi. Patricia Boswell. Bromfield Michelle. Desiree Campbell. Sadie Campbell. Sadie Campbell. Yeah, I got it.
CR1.
Joan Claude. Antonia Davis. Etonia? Okay. Hi, how you doing? What are you voting? Aye. Thank you. Tolene Dickerson,
Aye.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
Tierra Donaldson. Denise Echeverria. I have her as not present. Jaslyn Farmer.
Aye.
Alfredo Figueroa is excused. Sabrina Fisher. Kartika Fuentes. Kartika, I thought I saw you on virtual. Are you here? You gone? Okay.
I sent you an email about her, Ms. Benitez.
She's virtual. Kartika is virtual.
Yeah, but didn't hear her. She didn't vocalize. Johnny Goff is absent. She just left. Darren Grant. Sheila Grayson. Sheila Grayson. Aye. Oh, okay. Robert Hall. John Isaac.
Aye.
James Theodore. Not present.
No.
Alpha Camara. Robert Link is. Robert, are you on?
I had an
I got you.
unexpected personal issue, but I'm a yes if it counts.
Okay, thank you. Javik Malik. Not present. Mark, I haven't seen him tonight, so it's not present. Lucille Martin. Not present. Maim Massar. Aye. You will give me your pronunciation? Is that, give it to me after, I'll get you. Thank you. Antoinette Mitchell. Elise Murray. Clinton Mike.
Not present. Excused.
Carmen Ortiz.
Yes.
Thank you, Carmen.
Okay.
Wayne Palmer. No, Wayne Palmer.
You
Aye or nay? Thank you. Reginald Paris. Ariel Peters. Dominique Pin. Anthony Reed is excused. Nicholas Rosa, sorry. Sherry Samuels is excused. Karen Skinner. Aye. Thank you, love. Paul Stricker. Rango Sevilla. Luke Sabados. Deborah Terrado. Damon Tortini. Deborah Walker. And Beatrice Cornell.
Aye.
Thank you. The ayes have it.
Okay. Any other questions before now we take a vote? A motion actually to vote on the new days of the committees. I can't hear you guys, so John, walk me through it.
Taking the mic call.
Okay.
I make a motion that we accept the new layout for the committees for 1 year until June.
No, for the days of the meeting.
For the date, oh, I'm sorry, for the date of the meetings. I make the motion, we accept the date of the meetings.
It's been properly moved in second. Would everyone like to vote? You could go ahead.
No, yeah, no questions, right? Okay. To expedite this a little bit further, and I need a clear answer from everyone to make sure they're all in agreement. And I also will single out who does not go along with the majority. Are those all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any negatives? Deborah Walker? Anyone else? Any abstentions? Any reclusions? Then the ayes have it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Madam Chair.
Great, we can move on, John.
Great.
Deborah, and I'll talk to you offline, Deborah.
Hold on, before you adjourn,
Really quickly, so a lot of the events that we have that Councilmember Kevin C. Riley announced, a lot of them are not, a lot of the registration and reservations are kind of closed at the moment. However, the Screen and Protect free mammogram event that's happening tomorrow, I'm still seeing that there's RSVP still left. So you can still register, or if you know someone that wants to register, that form is still active. So I would try to connect with Senator T. Jamal Bailey's office to see if there's any spots left to confirm that information. But I just checked and there's still spots left. So in case you want to do that tonight or tomorrow. But I just wanted to make sure to remind everybody that those flyers and information is on that table right as you exit when you finish today. Okay, thank you.
Great. That's it. We're about to close. I just want to say it's actually important that everyone comes out to the meetings. It was exciting tonight to see residents like Carl Lanzano, the gentleman in the corner. He actually was on the community board for many, many years, and he served us for well.
Yes.
And, I just want to say thank you. He was one of these. When I came, I was just like you, and actually, I think I'm on my 12th year here. And
Yes.
Carl Stricker, Carl Lanzano, Pamela Johnson, all these folks were here. And I just want to say, thanks for joining the board. It's a good thing. All right. Can I get a motion to close, please, before I start crying? Motion to adjourn. All right. Close.
Everyone, have a good one. Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Good.